Hey, it is your buddy Peace and Harmony with you here today. We're zooming in and focusing in on a great viewer question, and that was really to look at how a narcissist or a psychopath will set up the trap, how they will trigger, how they will ensnare, how they will set up the foreground for you to become devalued and discarded. So what are the behaviors? What are the triggers? What are the setups? How do they basically maneuver things around so that you don't see the trap, in the floor that you accidentally walk into? Next thing you know, you are feeling miserable. You're feeling manipulated. You're feeling unrecognized or invalidated for who you are. And then especially when it comes into a family setting or a work setting where you're really then with these people for a certain amount of time, where you can then kind of, remain unscathed or salvage yourself in that situation. And to that light, I'm going to read another viewer comment that really describes the hooks, the subtle setups in quite detail. I'm going to read it verbatim. They create subtle hooks, double meanings, and suggested ideas, distorting reality by having a lie beneath what is being said that offends your instincts and creates cognitive dissonance, which creates stress and the fight or flight reactive state. I say create, but it's more of a destructive mode of operation. Parasites, abusers, manipulators, the conditioned enabler will become enraptured, addicted, ensnared by the emotional roller coaster ride. And if not able to break away, the stress will actually cause the physical health of the body to deteriorate. Break ties with the manipulative abuser. So this viewer, if I may now, I would just say their name, Lawrence McKinnon, that is a beautiful description, especially the subtle hooks or double meanings and suggested ideas, distorting reality and having a lie beneath what is being said that offends your instincts and creates a cognitive dissonance, which creates stress in the fight or flight response. And it is, he says create, but it's a destructive mode of operation. So this is really sort of a double ploy, a double entendre. It's like the jumbo shrimp. It's the icy cold. It's the it's the double entendre feeling and exasperation with which it's a bait and switch that the emotional manipulator will allure you in by. In other words, there's a front and there's a back. There is a facade, and then there's really what they're pre-calculating to do to kind of get you down where they want you. They're leading you along, but yet there's a rattlesnake in the ground. So it is really created by this, feeling of cognitive dissonance, which becomes, you could be aware of that there's something uneasy in the situation. And the conditioned enabler, like this viewer so aptly stated, is just that. So you're conditioned, which means you're trained to take care of them, to be underneath them, to play that role inextricably as you relate to them. In other words, your reaction is crafted as it specifically relates to them and their needs. It's very subtle, as they say, and subtle meaning oftentimes beneath conscious awareness. So that's why you have to get into the study and the role of metacognition, which is your ability to think about what you're thinking about and review kind of your behavior moving forward so that you can focus and study this when you're not with them, so that you can enter into the relationship or the situation, if this is in-laws or your family or your workplace. So you have a right attitude, you have a right boundary, you have a right perspective, and you don't fall. You emotionally don't fall. So it's an energetic vibration, a feeling, a security, a knowing, a high road that you're going to take before this gets involved, and realize that, the narcissist is a narcissist is a narcissist. A psychopath is a psychopath. They are not, really treatable, which means, you can give them all the reasons, you can show them the evidence, this person is hurting. They are not apt to change. We have very many comments from those who are narcissistic who are in, treatment with a psychologist, and they are not getting better. If anything, they will tell the therapist what they want to hear, and it's not helping anybody. It's just exacerbating the situation and making it worse and just dragging it along. So for you to know how to deal with this person and really not get ensnared is to say that, and acknowledge in your understanding now through your focus and understanding and preparation, is that just realizing that this person is destructive. And even though it's not physically destructive, or, you don't see a hole in the wall, you don't have a bruise on your arm, emotionally, something is awry. You know that the, underhanded punches are ready to come. It's just how they manipulate. It's how, it's easier for them to dim someone else's light rather than cause their own to shine brighter. In other words, to be a better person, to be supportive. There is always going to be this, surprise where they're going to throw you under the bus. So what you need to do is pull back on the reins and to not indulge in interaction, conversation, or relations with these people. And that is to really cut it short before it gets worse. It's like the old curfew back in the day. We're going to set a curfew. We don't want you to get into trouble. Set a curfew, a limit with your energy. I like the word curfew because it sort of denotes that, there's, the police could pull you over if you're caught, being out, later than you're supposed to, or doing things that you're not supposed to be doing. And you need to then really equate it to, there's things you should not be doing, and that is really engaging in conversation with this person and getting involved, because you know what they're capable of. You know the cognitive dissonance. You know the bait and switch. You know that, when you begin to get hoovered in, sucked in, vacuumed in, that's when the punch is going to come. That's when the insult, that's when you think, oh, yay, oh, goody. This relationship is now on a new ground. We're having fun. And, that's when the punches come, when you least expect it. So begin to become a little bit aware. And, a lot of people find this frustrating because they don't want to change their authentic self. They want, to be free, to be able to have conversations with this person. And I would advise you that, like the curfew, like the child who wants to stay out all night, you can want these things, but it doesn't mean that it's good for you. It doesn't mean that it's beneficial for you. And even though you might want this to be so, unfortunately, the reality for your own good is to enforce this understanding, and that, you need to not indulge in conversation, eye contact, or responding, to what they say with your heartfelt response, because, being yourself, oftentimes being empathic, having, a genuine interest in things, having a genuine passion is subject of their targeting. So they will go at those, that part of you, which is very genuine and very authentic and oftentimes very passionate. And that's where they go into the constant flaw finding, the dream stealers, the dream negators. And then so oftentimes situations that you would follow up on, you then begin to not follow up on. You have fragmented emotions, fragmented thoughts, and then, either about yourself or things you're pursuing or things, and next thing you know, you are in a shutdown mode because you've been energetically zapped by this person. And that is just how these people work. So even though you might not want it to be so, it is what it is. And oftentimes, like another viewer so aptly stated, if you're having negative vibes, I think was the view that this person had, or the word that this person had used, is if you just have an uncomfortable feeling, That is your subconscious. That is your instinct, your gut instinct trying to get your attention. Begin to focus in on that, in that little voice within that says, don't go there. I can't trust this person. Even though you would love to be able to trust your quote unquote family, sometimes family is not family. Sometimes, your closest colleagues are not your colleagues. Do you see what I'm saying? For those people who have experienced this at the workplace, these people are sabotagers. They have a hidden agenda. They want your role in the inheritance. They want your accounts. They want your position. They want you to falter so that they can look better. They have all sorts of hidden agendas, and they'll go after the relationship at this angle, this negative, unethical angle, to try to harm you or to get you looking, unattractive in the setting. So, that is really an unfortunate thing. So you have to say, okay, if this is my family member, realize that this is what they engage in, and you have to set the boundaries. In other words, boundary on eye contact, boundary on conversation, making it very simple, superficial, not having that heart-to-heart relationship. Keep the relationship with those who you do trust and you can trust and be free with and comfortable with, and know that they're not going to be the people who throw you under the bus, who are narcissistic, who engage in pathological self-absorption, things of that nature. Keep it very superficial, keep it very light, and move on. Cut the, cut your ties and keep it short, sweet, curt, and don't indulge in a lot of deep, conversation. Keep the words, limited. Keep the eye contact limited. Keep, the handshake limited. Don't give yourself away, because that's exactly what ends up happening. People give themselves away. They give their personal power away, and they're wondering why they're feeling miserable afterwards. It is your buddy Peace and Harmony with you here today, and I hope that these videos do help. Please share and please subscribe for more great tools, videos, discussion, and support.